What is going on, traders, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad to have you. Now in this video, we're going to be going over my watch list for the trading week of February 14th, 2022. Let's get to it. All right, so let's get started with some of the more popular companies that have earnings coming out this week. On the bullish side, I'm looking forward to Nvidia on Wednesday after hours and Walmart pre-market on Thursday. Both of these tickers made my watch list, so we'll go over those in detail. Now on the bearish side, nothing really stood out to me, but the ones that I'm going to be watching also are some new companies that really don't have much historical data to go by, but I'm curious to see how they report, and that's going to be Roblox, Upstart, AirBNB, Shopify, Roku, and DraftKings. And I'll go over a few of these also a little later in the video. Let's get started. All right, first up is going to be Nvidia, ticker symbol NVDA. Now here I have it pulled up on the weekly chart, and my plan for this one is to play the run up to earnings. Now I'm not going to hop in right away on this because there's a couple of issues that are floating out there that is causing the market to sell off, and you can see by this big red candle right here with this huge wick at the top. Nvidia didn't have a particularly good week last week either. Now those issues are going to be inflation and the potential war between Russia and Ukraine. Now the Federal Reserve did schedule an emergency meeting Monday at 11:30 a.m. and you can see right here will be held under expedited procedures, whatever that means. It's an emergency meeting, and they could come out with further news that pushes the market down even further. So I'm not going to be buying premiums at the bell or anything like that, just in case the market decides it wants to sell off. Now, if it does sell off, the first level that I'm going to be looking at is around $230. If it can't hold this consolidation range right here, then I'm looking for it to come all the way down to around $209, $210. So my plan for earnings on Nvidia is going to be play the run up, buy some cheap calls once the market starts selling off. Now, if it doesn't stop selling off, then yeah, I'm not going to buy anything until maybe Wednesday morning when the anticipation should push this ticker back up again, and then I'll sell it right before the bell. And then I also have a few cheap lotto calls and puts on both sides of this spectrum. So if they do really good, and it runs up to 300, I'll cash. And if they do bad on their earnings, and I'll buy a couple of cheap puts on it. So if it falls all the way down to like 180 or something like that, I'll cash on that one too. So this is my play for Nvidia this upcoming week. All right, up next is going to be Walmart, ticker symbol WMT. Now here I have Walmart pulled up on the weekly chart, and I marked off a few levels between $151 and $135. This channel right here, Walmart for the most part, has been bouncing up and down in this channel since September of 2020. Right now it's at the bottom of this channel, and if they have good earnings, I'm looking forward to push all the way back up to around $150, $151. Now this is another ticker that I'm going to be playing how I see it. If the market decides it wants to sell off a little bit more, then I'll hold off on buying calls for the earnings. And if it does decide it wants to sell off, I'm looking for Walmart to come down to around $128, okay? So keep this one on your watch list, and let's see what happens. All right, up next is going to be Shopify, ticker symbol SHOP. Now here I have Shopify pulled up on the weekly chart, and you can see right here that back in November of 2021, Shopify almost hit $1,800. But since then, it's been selling off, and right now it's sitting around $850. Okay, so that's almost a 53% drop in its price. So Shopify has been having a hard time of things. Now Shopify reports earnings on Wednesday pre-market, so let's go ahead and move over to Seek and Alpha and look how some of their peers are doing on their earnings. Now in the last couple of weeks, Twilio and Cloudflare have reported earnings, so let's go ahead and see how they did on their earnings. Let's start off with Twilio, ticker symbol TWLO. All right, and you can see right here, analysts thought they would lose more money than they did, but they beat what the analysts figured. So they got a nice pop, but they end up giving it all back. Now this could be partially because the market has been selling off because of other issues, but it remains that they had a nice pop and they gave it all back. So let's go ahead and take a look at Cloudflare, ticker symbol NET. And the same thing here, the analysts figured that they would lose money, but they ended up not losing any money. So they didn't knock it out of the park, and they beat what the analysts figured. So it ended up getting a nice pop and giving it all back. And just like I mentioned with Twilio, this could be possibly because the market has been selling off in general. But that's the same type of thing that I'm looking for what to happen with Shopify. So right now I'm looking for Shopify to have decent earnings, or at least beat the analyst estimates, and then have a nice pop and sell off. But just keep in mind that these premiums on Shopify are pretty expensive. So if I'm going to play this one, the only thing that I'm going to do is maybe a lotto play, $700 put, just in case they have bad earnings, and then I'll go ahead and hit on that, cash out on that. But I won't be playing this one to the upside or anything in this range right here because the premiums are too expensive. All right. Okay, the last one we're going to talk about is small caps. And here I have the Russell 2000 ETF on the weekly chart, ticker symbol IWM. Now, despite all the selling off in the market, you can see for the last 3 weeks, small caps have been doing okay. But what you also notice is that this prior support level right here that ends around $208, the price action got to it last week and was rejected downward. So if you're holding on to small caps or you're looking to add to your position, you should always keep your eye on what's going on in all small caps as a whole. The same way that people watch the SPY or the QQQ, you should keep your eye on IWM so you can know what's going on. Now, if the market continues to sell off, you want to watch for the $190 level, $191 level. If it breaks this, then it's got a long way to fall, getting all the way down to around $174, which is where the 200-week moving average is. Okay. Now, if it does start getting bullish and everything starts riding up, you want to watch for the $208 level to see if it can break through it. If not, then you know it's coming back down. Okay. So like I said, if you own any small caps, this is a nice barometer to see what's going on with the sector as a whole. Okay.